Apple's plans for its iPhone 18 and iPhone 20 just got an extra batch of leaks that sound pretty enticing. Google's Pixel 11 series hints to a lot of familiar looks, though with some welcome improvements. If you thought the OPPO Find X9 Pro took some amazing photos, wait till you get a look at what's next. Motorola's plans for a future flagship might seem familiar, but that's just part of the story. And yes, Apple's plans for iOS 27 sound a lot more genius than we thought. I'm Jaime Rivera, and no, there are no April Fool's jokes today. Just 5 interesting topics. This is Tech Briefing powered by MediaTek. The official news today oddly come from OPPO, and yeah, they're pretty interesting. See, the company just made it official that its Find X9 Ultra is launching on April 21st. Yes, the Find X9 Pro was considered by many of us as one of the best cameras on a phone last year, but it seems the company is ready to make even that X9 Pro look like child's play when compared to that Ultra. So remember the Hasselblad teleconverter that would enable true optical 10x zoom? Yeah, well, in a recent teaser the company published, it seems they figured out how to pull it off without that extra lens. Its new 50-megapixel 10x optical telephoto was apparently a custom Samsung ISOCELL sensor and the complex quintuple prism designed to achieve a 230mm focal length with up to 20x zoom at near optical quality. Combined with sensor shift OIS and advanced optical alignment, yeah, it sounds crazy, and yes, I know Samsung has done 10x zoom, but not at this level. But then wait, there's more. The device is rumored to pack the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, a large 6.82-inch LTPO AMOLED display with 144Hz refresh rate, and the massive 7050 mAh battery with 100-watt fast charging. The camera setup would also apparently include a 200-megapixel main sensor, a second 200-megapixel periscopic lens, and the 50-megapixel ultra-wide, making it one of the most stacked camera systems on any phone. If these specs hold up, I wonder why not use that current teleconverter to go even further, as the Pro was already doing a legendary job mimicking a camera. I'm curious to know what you would like to see in the comments. Now let's switch to Motorola, because it seems the RAZR Fold is not the only thing the company is launching soon. Leaked renders of the Motorola RAZR 70 Ultra, which is the possible name for the next RAZR Ultra 2026, suggest Motorola is remaining a bit conservative. The images reveal the company is sticking with a familiar design, but they are making small refinements, let's just say it. It's not easily noticeable, but it seems the device is slightly thicker than its predecessor, likely to accommodate a bigger battery and improved cameras. Dimensions show a marginal increase, both folded and unfolded, but nothing dramatic in everyday use. Now, as for the typical design elements of what makes a flip phone, well, the layout remains mostly unchanged, with a dedicated Moto AI button on the side alongside the usual power and volume controls, plus USB-C and speaker placements at the bottom. Display-wise, the future Ultra is expected to keep the same formula as the previous model, featuring a 7-inch inner folding screen and a 4-inch cover display. Really, the biggest news comes from its internals, reportedly upgrading to the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, bringing better performance and efficiency. Now, I do wonder about the final color options and materials, though, as you gotta hand it to how bold Motorola went last year. I'm curious to know what you would like to see in the comments. As for what Google is bringing next, well, it's obvious the leaks are already late by the company's standards. Some new leaks show full renders of what to expect, and, well, there's a lot of consistency if I'm gonna be polite about it. The Pro model keeps nearly identical dimensions to its predecessor, which, might sound like a bummer, but I don't know about you, I love the design language. The biggest visual tweak is the redesigned camera island, which still has the familiar oval shape, but is now fully covered in dark glass instead of the two-tone look. Like the base model, it's expected to feature a 6.3-inch display with a slightly slimmer bezel, though they may still be thicker than most competitors. We also heard the phones might be getting thinner overall, which we hope happens. Now, internally, the entire Pixel 11 family is expected to run on Google's next-generation Tensor, which we assume is the G6, paired with a MediaTek modem, signaling a shift away from Samsung's components. Performance and efficiency should improve, but the overall package still feels like a refinement rather than a major leap. We haven't heard anything about other important specs like storage, but I am assuming Google is not going to risk that part, given how everyone evolved to 256 gigs at the base, though it could be that this is going to make the phones more expensive. I'm curious to know what you'd be willing to pay for these phones in the comments. Now let's switch to Apple because it seems there are some bold changes when it comes to software. We already know the company is reportedly preparing a major upgrade to Siri with iOS 27, but it's not until now that we hear how this will work. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman just claimed that Apple will be introducing a new extension system that will let users connect third-party AI chatbots directly to the assistant. According to the report, this feature will live inside a dedicated section in the App Store, essentially creating a marketplace where users can browse and install AI integrations that plug into Siri. Once enabled, these chatbots could run natively within Siri, expanding what it can do beyond Apple's own capabilities, as long as the apps support the extension framework. This update is expected to debut at WWDC 2026 and launch later in the year alongside devices like the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone Fold. It's part of Apple's broader push to modernize Siri and compete more directly with advanced AI assistants. So yeah, if you thought Gemini was the only option, well, think again. If executed well, this could turn Siri into a more flexible, modular platform where users choose the AI tools they want rather than relying solely on Apple's built-in intelligence. Let me know if you like this idea, because I actually find it kind of genius, in the comments. Now, before we get to the hottest news, let me tell you about today's sponsor, MediaTek. This is the second year where Motorola chooses Dimensity for its most beloved RAZR, and I can see why. Last year's model proved to be great in performance and endurance, and this year's RAZR has only gotten better with its Dimensity 7400X and its advanced 4nm architecture. Seriously, this phone has the looks, has the feel, but then all this is matched with snappy performance, reliable connectivity, and even better endurance on its slim form factor. It's clearly the reason Motorola continues to trust MediaTek year over year. Thanks to MediaTek for sponsoring this video. And finally, for the hottest news today, grab some popcorn. We will be talking about the future of iPhones in two stages. First, let me talk about what's immediately happening with the iPhone 18 Pro series, as leaks just got intense. It seems the smaller dynamic island is coming, but different to what we heard. Prototype images and screen protector leaks point to a significantly smaller cutout, potentially reduced by up to 35%. The biggest change appears to be in Apple moving some Face ID components under the display, leaving only a smaller visible area, which, yeah, could end up being just the punch hole style cutout. While one of the sources is unproven, more reliable leakers like Ice Universe have shared similar details, adding credibility to the rumors. That alone is major, but second, let's talk about the iPhone 20. We've heard Apple is planning something major for its 20th anniversary model, and, well, according to leaks, the device could feature an ultra-thin 1.1mm bezel and a fully curved display that wraps seamlessly around the frame, creating a near all-glass design reminiscent of the futuristic evolution of the iPhone X. This would mark one of the biggest visual redesigns in years, pushing Apple closer to its long-term goal of a truly uninterrupted screen. Obviously, yeah, after last decade being all about curved displays on Android, I also wonder how Apple plans to give this design its own uniqueness, as you can find a ton of cheap Android phones right now with that, and that only led to terrible palm rejection and other problems that we had to deal with on Android. We also heard the company keeps testing ways to fully remove Face ID, though it's hard to predict if it'll be ready for that all-screen dream. In today's question, let me know, would you like an iPhone with a curved display? Because, I mean, in my case, sure, if they could add some functionality to the curve, why not? But anyways, I'm curious to know what you would like to see in the comments. Friends, thank you so much for joining on this new episode of Tech Briefing. Please like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments, as I'm sure you've seen me try to respond to as many as I can. Also, follow me on social media as more behind-the-scenes work continues to happen there. There are so many products, it's pretty crazy. By the way, guys, our Technically There podcast with Josh is returning very soon, so stay tuned for that as well. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.